Guys, so we have an urgent breaking news coming out when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Ukrainian President Zelensky will meet senior Pentagon officials in Kiev on Thursday. His office confirmed as new detail emerged about a reported U.S. plan to end the war on terms favorable to Moscow. The visit comes one day after U.S. President Envoy Steve Witkoff skipped a scheduled meeting with Ukrainian President in Turkey. Now it says here a U.S. delegation led by Army Secretary Daniel arrived in Kiev on Wednesday and met Ukrainian Defense Minister Denis in the evening. All right, we are definitely seeing something here, guys. Zelensky to meet Pentagon delegation amid leaked U.S.-Russia peace push. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 U.S. Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to help and support the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Guys, I just want to let you know, if you are supporting through the Super Chat on this premiere, thank you so much. I'm not aware if you guys are sending me like the donation through the live stream, but while you guys are watching this, I'm making another video. So thank you again for your support through Cash App or the Super Chat. Thank you again for that. Your support truly helps out. Thank you so much, guys. So this is something very important here, guys. So you got some very important generals in Ukraine. U.S. general. You have a whole bunch of very important people out there. They want to end this war as soon as possible. A top Pentagon delegation arrived in Kiev on Wednesday as reports emerges of a U.S. peace plan that would force Ukraine to cede territory and drastically cut its army. Wow. All right, so let's see what's going on here. I'm going to have to skip certain parts here. There we go. So Ukrainian Prime Minister Julia met Driscoll on Thursday, calling the visit an opportunity for U.S. officials to assess the situation on the ground and witness firsthand the consequences of the Russian aggression. Now it says here, Zelensky aide Dmytro said the president intend to meet the delegation. It'd be nice if they could end all this. It would actually not only be good for Ukraine and Russia, but it will be good for the world. And a lot of sanctions could be lifted, because these sanctions, it's not hurting Ukraine and Russia, it's hurting the world. All right, so it would be incredible, and this would go down another amazing legacy for the U.S. president, ending multiple wars. As previously reported by the Wall Street Journal, Driscoll, accompanied by two four-star generals, is expected to hold talks with Zelensky, other senior Ukrainian officials, and representative of Ukraine defense industry. He also plans to meet Russian officials at a later stage. As per the Wall Street Journal, the White House chose to involve Driscoll and top military leaders, partly because it believes Moscow may be more open to military broker talks and out of frustration that previous diplomatic efforts have yielded little. So this war is about to go on 4 years, February 20, I believe. So it first broke out February 20, 2021. That's when, no, it wasn't 2021. I think it's 2022. Yeah, 2022. So that was right after Joe withdrew the U.S. military from Afghan. A senior Trump administration official said Driscoll is traveling to Ukraine to get a feel for the fact on the ground before reporting back to the White House. Another official said his mission is to revive peace talks on the president's behalf. Senior U.S. officials have rarely visited Ukraine since the U.S. commander returned to office in January 2025. Meanwhile, U.S. media have reported that Washington and Moscow are secretly working on a plan to end the nearly 4-year full-scale war triggered by the Russians' 2022 invasion. They call it invasion. Russia calls it a military operation. So again, it's two different sources going on here. So the plan reportedly would require Kiev to cede territory and slash the size of its military by more than half, terms amounting to capitulation. Now, the Kremlin said it had nothing to say about the report. Washington and Kiev have not publicly commented on the alleged proposal. A U.S. proposed 28-point peace plan for Ukraine reportedly includes a scheme for Russia to gain control of eastern Donbass in exchange for paying Ukraine a rental fee. Now, the Telegraph reported Thursday, citing its sources. Now, Kiev would retain legal ownership of the territory. Now, the plan, said to be drafted by U.S. and Russian envoy Steve Witkoff and Kirill Dmitriev, will also require Ukraine to clear remaining non-occupied areas of Donbass and turn them into a demilitarized zone, Axios reported. In exchange, Moscow could make concessions in parts of Zaporizhia and Kherson. Zaporizhia is a very important area. That's where Russia's controlling the power plant, the nuclear power plant. According to the Financial Times, the proposal also envisioned Ukraine scaling back its armed forces, halting some Western weapons deliveries, and pledging not to host foreign troops. The land lease approach echoes U.S. President business-style deal-making, with Russia paying to offset Ukraine's losses in the mineral-rich region. Once again, these are very important updates when it comes to getting closer to ending this almost 4-year war that's been going on between Russia and Ukraine. If Donald could pull this off, I mean, you got to give credit to the Don for actually, ending this biblical war instead of sending billions of dollars like Joe. Again, a lot of people's not going to, agree with me in that term. But again, you got to give the man credit if he ends this war. Ukraine was not involved in drafting the plan and was only briefed on its broad outlines, NBC reported. Allies in Europe also said they were not informed. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kanja said Brussels would not accept any initiative negotiated without Kiev. Now, officials on both sides of the Atlantic distanced themselves from the reported proposal, a senior U.S. official told Kiev Post. Now, the document resembled a maximalist Kremlin fantasy. Now, Western diplomats dismissed the report as another Russian attempt to create pressure for a deal Kiev would reject. All right, so that's a very important news that's coming out right now. The Kiev Post is putting out this information. Give me a second here. Yeah, so the Kiev Post put out the information. Zelensky has officially received a proposal plan from the U.S. Office of the President of Ukraine. Give me a second here. Let me see if there's any updates. If you can, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Hold on. Give me a second here. What's going on with this one? Zelensky has received a peace plan draft from the U.S. and will speak with Donald in the coming days. Okay, let's see what's going on with this one here. This is a big breaking news. All right, so he just received it, and there's going to be a major. Give me a second here. Zelensky and Trump to speak in the coming days after Kiev received peace plan. All right, so this is the update. This is the update. Ukraine President Office said Kiev remains ready to work constructively now with the American side and with our partners in Europe and around the world to achieve a result that delivers peace. Zelensky has received a peace plan draft from the U.S. and will speak with U.S. President in the coming days. His office said. Now, I did post a video yesterday that in the coming days, the White House is going to announce something big. So the U.S. believes that the draft could reinvigorate diplomatic efforts, the presidential office wrote on Thursday evening. The president of Ukraine outlined the fundamental principles important to our people. And following today's meeting, we agreed to work on the points of the plan in such a way that it will bring about a dignified and... Give me a second here, guys. I'm sorry. There was a advertisement that popped up. There we go. So we agreed to work on the points of the plan in such a way that it will bring about a dignified end to the war. The statement on Telegram read. Now, Ukraine has been striving for peace since the very first moment of the Russian invasion, and we support all substantive proposal capable of bringing real peace closer. It continued. All right. I pray, we should all pray that this war comes to an end. Hopefully we get some good news in the coming days, guys. Hopefully we get some good news in the coming days. Again, we're going to hear something pretty soon. Hopefully this is the one. Since the beginning of this year, Ukraine has backed the U.S. president proposal aimed at ending the war. Now, we remain ready to work constructively now with the American side and with our partners in Europe and around the world to achieve a result that delivers peace. The statement concluded by saying that Zelensky will meet with the U.S. president in the coming days to discuss the available diplomatic opportunities and the key points necessary to reach peace. The office did not detail any of the proposal and the plans, which are thought to be heavily slanted towards Moscow maximalist demands. We should pray for these leaders. Please pray for the leaders that they all come together and end this war. I think it's very important to pray for these world leaders. On Wednesday, it was reported that Russian and U.S. officials had worked together to quietly draft a plan to end the war in Ukraine that would amount to capitulation from Kiev. Some of the reported terms of the deal, which was said to have been developed by the U.S. President envoy Steve Witkoff and Kremlin fixer Kirill Dmitriev, included demands that Kiev scale back its armed forces, stop receiving Western equipment, and forego hosting foreign troops, according to the Financial Times. The Telegraph reported on a provision which could see Moscow gaining control of eastern Donbass in exchange for a rental-free, while Kiev will retain legal ownership over the territories. We're almost done with this one here. Meanwhile, Axios said that Ukrainian forces would clear the remaining non-occupied areas of Donbass to turn them into a demilitarized zone in exchange for Moscow granting concessions in the partially occupied Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. A source close to Kiev said that the timing suggested that Kremlin was hoping to exploit the perceived weaknesses in Ukraine's leadership amid a snowballing corruption scandal, which could see further changes in the Gov top team. European and U.S. allies asserted that they had not been informed of the closed-door negotiations. A source to RBC Crane that Zelensky will be pressed by senior U.S. generals, again, U.S. generals, to accept the arrangement outlined in the draft deal in the meeting late on Thursday. You got some very important generals out there, U.S. generals, some very important people. And big breaking news, Zelensky, Trump to speak in the coming days after Kiev received peace plan draft. This is the biggest breaking news for today, guys. We need to pray that the world leaders, Putin, Zelensky, Donald, U.S. General, Steve Witkoff, all these very important people that's coming together today to end this war once and for all. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you check out the videos I posted today. The links will be in the comments box. Subscribe to my other channel, Prepper Watch News. I've been posting videos every day, 3 videos every morning. So if you guys want to check it out, the links to my channels will be in the description box and also the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.